So we want to get on with our first session, and here to moderate is Professor Troy Runge. He's the Associate Dean for Research Extension in CALS and a Professor of Biological Systems Engineering. Troy was also a member of the inaugural steering committee for the Dairy Innovation Hub here at UW-Madison. Let's welcome Troy Runge.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's see if I actually did this right. Looks okay. All right, I'm Troy Runge. I am actually a farmer as well. I grew up on a dairy farm and still have land, so I'm pretty proud of that in my announcement as well. And like our governor, I also worked in a cheese plant as one of my very first professional jobs, also cutting off mold and processing cheese. So not as successful as our governor, but I'm trying. To get us kicked off, I am going to start talking about not research, but the implementation of research. And we have an amazing set of two groups that are going to talk about projects, and it's really taking that research and getting it out to the end users. The first example is going to be talking really about technology-based tools in the forms of either a video game or an online tool. And each presenter or group of presenters, they're going to talk about 20-25 minutes. We'll have time for some questions as well, but we're hoping that you will see that we're not just interested in creating research for the sake of research, but it's getting out to the important users and making an impact. The first one is Daniel Smith and Dan Marzu. They're both from the Nutrient and Pest Management program within Extension. They worked on this online nutrient management curriculum, and they're going to share sort of that perspectives of developing the technology as well as the end user experience. So please welcome Daniel and Dan.
Thanks, Troy. Dan and I are going to co-present. I'll cover the first 5 or 6 slides and we'll dive right into it. So I'm Dan Smith, the Outreach Program Manager for the Nutrient Pest Management Program, University of Wisconsin Madison Division of Extension. Brief program history began in 1989 to address water quality concerns from atrazine use. Quickly, the program evolved to address nutrient management use, directly reducing fertilizer use across the state. And then nutrient management farmer education is what we're going to be talking about today. Actually started in 2008. Paper trainings all the way across the state, training thousands of producers. That partnership with local land conservation and extension offices continues today. 2020, we received funding from the Dairy Innovation Hub to develop an online self-paced nutrient management farmer education course. That way, farmers could take this from anywhere in the state, and they could even watch the videos on their phone when they're, say, working in the fields. And then finally, in 2024, I wanted to mention that we moved administratively to the Division of Extension. It's a statewide team. The Nutrient Pest Management Program is helping farmers manage nutrients on the landscape as well as helping them manage troublesome pests to improve farm profitability and reduce environmental risk of farming. 6 regional specialists, we'll cover that on the very next slide, and then we have some outreach media support, and that really helps tie our program together. We're funded by a variety of resources across the state, including the Wisconsin State Fertilizer Tonnage Tax, a DAC cap, Nutrient Management Farmer Education Grant, USDA funding, as well as that Dairy Innovation Hub. So our specialists across the state, we have 1 vacancy in South Central Wisconsin. We're excited to announce that we'll be quickly filling, but those are our great team members across the state teaching farmers nutrient management education all winter long. What is nutrient management farmer education? We teach farmers how to manage those nutrients on the landscape. A nutrient management farmer education course completion certificate allows a farmer to write their own nutrient management plan, which then qualifies them for tax incentives such as Farmland Preservation Program. Also, obviously, helps them manage those nutrients on the landscape in a much better way environmentally and to improve their profitability. Traditionally, education was done in a series of county meetings where farmers would come to the classroom in their local county office. We would teach nutrient management in a collaborative way with them and discuss their farm. COVID came along and that evolved to we have to do everything online, as well as it's really more convenient for farmers to take this wherever they work anyways. They can reach out to us for additional help. We still do hundreds of in-person classes as it is as well. But our classes dive into soil sampling, managing common crop nutrients, accounting manure and legume credits, as well as writing the actual nutrient management plan, in which we use the SNAP Plus program for. What does the class look like that the Innovation Hub paid us to develop? And this is the online platform. Anyone's welcome to check that out, and feel free to reach out for a link for that. This is a hybrid course approach, so we have cases where we're presenting some of these lectures in person, we're doing these courses over Zoom live, and then the farmers are taking some of these videos we developed and watching them on their own. Each one of the tiles there on the screen behind me is a video. In that video course, Dan's going to walk through. There's videos from the classroom and from the field talking about nutrient management issues such as soil pH, phosphorus, nitrogen management, and again, those nutrient credits. With that, Dan's going to dive into phosphorus.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. So I'm Dan Marzu. I'm the North Central Region NPM Outreach Specialist. So this is kind of an example of one of our courses, so it's phosphorus. It's a typical course. We go into the basics, go into the phosphorus cycle, and then phosphorus management in the landscape. So again, like Dan mentioned, there's a series of videos and other reading material on this. So here's an example of one of the videos that we have. So it goes kind of into the phosphorus cycle, so the farmers actually get an idea on how phosphorus reacts within that soil, so they can start making some better decisions on how to apply phosphorus, whether it's fertilizer or manure. And then we also have some additional topics on there that the farmers can dive a little bit deeper into if they are really interested in some more in-depth phosphorus topics, that they could actually go into there and read for a little bit further deeper into those topics. And here's some farmer testimonials. So I want to thank Maria to lining up a couple of these for us, and Derek from Echoe Farms. So you can see how he has used this online self-paced format. And also Austin from Sprecher Valley Farm. He also took the course because he had some nutrient management plans that he had to implement here too. And there's some other things that some other farmers have used this for. So I know some county conservationists that I work with. Dan mentioned that we do a lot of in-person trainings. So in my North Central region, the county conservationists are actually promoting this with their clientele in case they can't meet those, go to those in-person classes. So there was one farmer that I worked with in Wood County that he missed that first class. So up in my region, we have 3 classes. The first class is all the education part of things, so NPK, manure, pH, that type of thing. He couldn't make it to that class, so technically he wouldn't be able to qualify to write his nutrient management plan. This gave him the opportunity to do all that education and then come to the next class where we actually wrote the plan. And as we're sitting there writing the plan, he was actually asking me a lot of questions about what was in that session so he can make better decisions while writing his plan. And then crop consultants have also started using this web page. So I know of one instance where there was a little survey on this curriculum that one crop consultant actually filled it out, and they used it to learn more about potassium management. So that way they could go to their farmers and be able to make better recommendations on fertilizer recommendations or implementing manure applications on that farm based on the nutrient requirements. We are eventually going to move this over to a Canvas site. It's just going to be a little bit more user-friendly than what our current website is, and we'll have a lot more materials on there that the farmers can explore. We're going to be consistently updating these videos and putting in more of our recommendations as they get implemented. So if you're interested with this course, this QR code on the left-hand side of the screen, it will actually is a Qualtrics survey, so you could sign up to actually get into, sign up for the new Canvas course, or you could also do the other QR code to see the website, the current website. And we do have some additional resources. So the Fast Facts, many of you have seen the old trifold handouts that we used to have. We have now come up with a magazine that goes a little bit more in depth of a lot of our recommendations, and even the cycles for phosphorus and potassium and nitrogen. Those are all included in there. And we also have our Snap Plus magazine that goes into how to use Snap Plus. Now this one is for the version 2. Eventually when version 3 comes out, we'll be updating this magazine to assist, have those farmers, to hand out to those farmers and county conservation staff and anyone else who works with Snap Plus so they can refer to that magazine if they have any questions on how to use that program. So with that, any questions for Dan or I? Thanks.
All right, I can help moderate this. Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
We have, I'm smart enough to actually turn this on, which I may not be. Well, I'm just going to try to be loud using my teaching voice. There are microphones there if you have questions. Maybe I can ask a question. Oh, we have one up front. Go ahead.
How many farmers have taken the course?
Yeah, absolutely. So our trainings cover about 3,000 farmers every year annually, taking the course, several hundred every year take the course for sure. Since it's a website, we don't have all the details on every single interaction. We aren't collecting personal data. The Canvas course will give us a little bit more of that feedback to, say, improve things over time.
I have a question while others are thinking. So when you teach online, you don't get that valuable feedback from the farmers and the end users. Are you able to get some feedback as you continue to make improvements? Are there other ways, or how are you incorporating farmer feedback, I guess, as you continue to develop?
Yeah, I can answer that. So as far as feedback, so we are looking at an evaluation process to get feedback from farmers or other crop consultants on this. That is one thing that is kind of lacking with this whole program. So, we did have that one initial survey, not very well responses there, but we are looking at different ways to how to evaluate the online and even the in-person classes.
Is it fair that you guys work with farmers quite a bit anyway?
Oh, yes. Yep.
I have a question. So what I'm wondering is, I'm over here. Do you have farmers from other states that use this tool? You do. Do you know which states?
We don't. I know through some of the interactions I've had with other states, they really like this approach because it's online and it's so encompassing. It is very specific to Wisconsin because of our recommendations and regulations, so that does take away from, say, the out-of-state appeal, but certainly has that broad reach.
Can we charge the out-of-state extra?
We have a question in the back here.
Hi, thank you for the presentation and all the wonderful work that you guys are doing. I'm wondering if you have any comments on how cover crops might fit into production systems here in Wisconsin and how that can help with nutrient management.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk with farmers about nutrient management, cover crops, no-till, other soil conservation techniques are often part of those conversations. Really interested in adopting those practices on the landscape to help hold the soil in place, help it infiltrate more water, and some of the additional environmental benefits. So we certainly see a lot of farmers adopting cover crops through these nutrient management plans, and certainly a lot of great interest. And then we're also able to help provide some technical expert support as agronomists ourselves on all the different challenges of adopting some of these practices as well.
Yeah, in addition to that, it's really fun to sit down with a farmer while we're writing these plans, and they see their soil loss go off the charts and their phosphorus index are really high. They go, well, what can I change on that? So let's go back there and change your tillage practice. Maybe put in a cover crop, and then we see those values drop, and then the light bulbs go off, and you can see the gears turning in those farmers' heads. And so, once they see that happening on their farm, in their situation, then they're more engaged and wanting to explore those types of situations.
Go ahead, Steve.
Good morning. Maybe I missed it, but is there a charge for the producers to participate in either the online or the whole series of in-person?
No, the courses are always free. We get funded from DATCAP to teach nutrient management, farmer education across the state. That covers our travel, our staff time, that type of thing. Never a charge for that, as well as all of our materials are provided to Wisconsin farmers for free too.
Well, the counties might charge for the in-person.
Right, they might cover
Yeah.
lunch, that type of
Yeah.
thing, but.
Other questions? Going once, twice. Let's thank Dan and Dan.